Instead of hearing, oh, so what brings me out today? How long do you think about getting this done? I'm not. You said the price was good for a year. I'm not planning it. I don't want to hear that up front. I'm not going to ask a stupid question. Ask the question to get out the information. Start building that need right up front. Tell me 3 things about your roof. All right? And then start your ground game. Okay, why don't you show me those issues you're having? Getting them outside and walking around with you. Who does that regularly?
Me. Every time.
You should. Get them involved.
Right. It's freezing cold. Get your ass out here. I'm out here.
Yeah, build that pain with them. Hey, if I'm going to be out here busting my ass, I'm going to be out here for 30 minutes taking measurements, pictures, all of that stuff. You can't come out for 2 seconds to show me some stuff? They're going to respect you a lot more by spending that time even though you're freezing your ass off. Walking around the house in a suit in fucking 2 feet of snow. Yeah, put some boots on if you have to. But walk around in that. That's what they respect. You're working for them. That's what they're hiring is you. The last guy sat out and fucking just walked down the sidewalk. And, looks like about 35 feet there. And all right, well, it's kind of like that house. And they're just making up measurements and shit. They need to see your footprints around their house that you actually walk through. I've gone and done an estimate for another guy for siding and shit like that. And the last guy just left. And I, knocked back on the door. I go, you just had an estimate? Somebody just gave you a quote? It's funny. You look around your house, you got no footprints. How did you measure? Ooh, I didn't think about that. Well, now that last guy just lost all credibility. Get out there. Make sure you're getting them. Get the customer out there. Have them point out the issues. Also, too, it's a great time to point out what they like about their neighbors' houses, what they don't like. Pointing out the ridge vent and showing them how that house over there has a ridge vent and they stopped at 4 feet short from the edge and it looks like ass, and then the house across the street, they did it all the way to the end. Which one looks better? Now when you're talking about your curb appeal aspect, you have something to stand on. Look at those old school can vents, the 550s versus the 750s. Oh, I didn't realize that. See, you don't have an overhang. See, that guy does, but because you don't, we're going to have to do something different. I'll show you what we're going to have to do in a little bit. But pointing out those different things.
Yeah.
All right? The granule loss, the damage and stuff. I mean, obviously you're going to take your digital analysis, but get them outside, let them get involved with you on the measure. And then the survey. You've seen these before, right? Or is somebody going to tell me you've never seen these?
What's that?
I use that.
Religiously.
Well, like your feet on?
No. Why do you think I've been selling?
This should be on your clipboard walking up. Your measure sheet and this. Okay, maybe I'll double print the sides. So it's one on one side, one on the other side. You ever seen that before, huh? Okay, what is the purpose of this? The initial purpose.
To get them thinking.
What's that?
To get them thinking.
Part of it.
But the line that we put at the end of it is going to meet your particular needs and speed the process up.
Okay. The first one was right on.
Yeah.
We're trying to get them to start thinking about the process. All right.
What's important to them?
What is, what isn't. Let's just let them get thinking about the roof. Remember too, when we knock on these people's doors at 6 o'clock at night, what was their day like? What was leading up to this? They're rushing rush hour to get home from work. Okay, they fucking just punched out of the factory and shit, and they're trying to beat everything forward. They walk in the door, and then the wife's bitching and screaming at them. Did you remember to pick up milk? Oh, son of a bitch, I forgot. This and that. The kids are screaming. Did you do your homework? This, and then all of a sudden, I'm here to sell your roof. What the fuck? Who the fuck is this? And and you catch them off guard. The last thing they were thinking about is their roof. The initial questions on this just start to get the wheels turning in their head. Why are you here? What should I be looking for in a roof? Maybe my roof is pretty bad. Okay? And then the minute you use the line, this is going to help speed things up and address your particular needs. They're going to want it. They don't want you fucking to be there for the rest of the fucking night. They want you in and out. So at that point, when you say this is going to help speed things up, address your particular needs, they're going to start filling it out for you. Have you really had resistance with them filling it out up front?
Not really. Couple like.
Sometimes you get the old
people
crotchety old
that
man who's
don't
like,
speak
oh, I
English.
want a shingle, and that's it. And that happens. But
Yeah,
for the
it's
most
like,
part,
what
it
the hell,
doesn't happen.
man? But it's usually the
Okay, what
real
kind of
old
shingle?
school
Copper, asphalt, slate?
Oh, don't play that game with me. You know what I want. I want an
I have no idea
architectural
what
one.
I have no idea, sir, what you want.
Do you
You're looking
architectural
for
or
a
conventional?
guarantee. And if you're getting that, guys, if you're getting, listen up, if you're getting that much
Architectural
resistance,
is,
take it
not
and
a
fill it out
dimensional.
for them, but ask them the questions. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is this? And remember too, this is going to help speed things up and address just your particular needs, Dave. Okay? If it's not important to you, I'm not going to spend a half hour talking about something on a curb appeal that if curb appeal doesn't fucking matter to you. I'm just going to speak about the things that specifically are of interest to you, and then I'll get the fuck out of here. Okay, I'll touch on those things. So do me a quick favor, fill out the top section. Okay, it's gonna speed things up and address your particular needs. And they're gonna grab it. It's how you present it. If you're slamming it down their throat, hey, this is company policy, I need you to fill it out. People don't fucking give a shit about your policy.
No.
Okay, or our one leg policy. Never fucking tell them about a policy, because they'll just fight you just because they don't want to do anything about a policy. But get them to fill it out. It's important. It gets them to start thinking about it. They start putting it together in their own head. And then when you get back into the house, review it with them. Review it with the wife, review it with the husband, so everybody's on the same page, and ask them, you feel the same as your spouse? No, actually I would have rated guarantee a lot higher. Have you ever had that? You know, the wife or somebody come back and add something else to it? Well, that's not important to her, but I really care about the curb appeal aspect or the ventilation. I know that that's important. Okay, find out where they're both at on it. Alright, then just put it on the table, because we're making a big mess on their kitchen table. So just leave it there and move on from there. Alright, then get into your inspection, the hover measure. Alright, that's part of the checklist. We need hover measures on every single job. Roofing, wind or siding. Okay, I'm going to start having the canvassers. You guys did not homes. Okay, I want you guys to take a hover now on it. The initial 8 pictures. It's going to be free to us. So it's not going to cost everything. Not to do the 3D model or the full complete measurement, but just to take the 8 photos and put it on that lead.
Even if they're not home?
We're going to get permission on them, but even if they're not home, we're going to get permission on them when we set the appointment.
If they answer and say, hey, I'm not gonna be home, and say, hey, I can take these pictures real quick, that way it'll speed the process up when I.
Well, that, but I'm talking about yours. What I'm talking about.
You can send out if they're not gonna be home.
No, but when you get there, sometimes you call them and they answer, and they'll be like, hey, man,
I
I'm
got
sorry,
tied up at
something came
work,
up.
I'm still on my way, or you know what, I'm sorry, something came up, I want to reschedule it, but,
Yeah.
you know, while I'm here,
When
you
we're
mind if I
scheduling
take a
the
couple?
appointment, we're gonna be like, hey, in the event that you're accidentally not here, my rep is gonna walk around and take pictures. You're okay with that, right?
Is that like a
He's
good
gonna get
idea to
your
plant that seed that they don't have to be there though?
What if their kids are
No.
home and then they.
No, we're not saying they're not gonna be there, but, you know, it's just,
Yeah.
in the event we get there and you're not home yet, do we have permission to walk your property and take some pictures and get started measuring?
There you go, that's
Type
a better
of
way to
deal.
word it.
And if they're, you know, yeah, we gotta figure out that end of it all, but even if we just get the hover now on it, and they don't come back home, we got everything on file. So now all of a sudden we get them on the schedule 3 months down the line for siding, for instance. We have all the pictures, we can upgrade it right here before you guys go out there, give you the exact measurement. You're not waiting that 2-hour delay. You can go out there already with the 3D model, based on what we have.
There's a 2-hour delay on the siding though?
It can be, it's getting closer, there's ways that you can get around it.
Roof is quick though?
Roof's within a half hour, yep, with everything on it, it's within a half hour. 20 minutes to a half hour.
My last 2 sightings, the full 3D has came back in an hour and a half.
Beautiful.
I was like.
It's only getting quicker, they're only perfecting it. But guys, I mean, this is something too where the canvassers go out there. I mean, think about it. We're going to have all of this shit in our database, and we're going to talk about it, but it's all going to be in the database where we can just upgrade it right from sitting at the computer, right here. You know, the canvassers go out there. I mean, talk about making a solid appointment. I mean, especially like insurance. Okay, fucking Jeff goes out there, knocks on the door, sets you guys up for this. Well, I'm going to get the process started. Do you mind if I take any quick photos of your house all the way around? And now when you go in there, you know the exact measurements, you know what's going on. You don't have to take any fucking photos. You don't have to do anything because he's already taken them for you. And if the customer's going to allow us to go through and take 8 photos of their house from the canvasser doing it before you, the rep, comes out there, you think it's going to be a solid appointment?
Yes.
Chances are they're not just signing up with him to get him off his fucking porch because they're scaring him. If they're allowing him to walk around their house and take fucking photos of their house and shit like that, it should be a solid lead. You would think. At least a lot more solid than any of the other ones, right?
Thank you, sir.
So, but they're going to be mandatory on every job. Doesn't matter, roofing, siding. I mean, it's going to come up with everything. So we got to get it done. We're going to put everything in the database, like we talked about with the pricing and everything that we got going on. We can sit here in the command center and look at the fucking computer and figure out where the cost is, everything on there. The digital analysis, our 7-point platinum fucking platinum analysis inspection or whatever we're going to call it. All right, that's huge, guys. You guys have been doing it. Once we get the boxes completed and everything else, it's about the show. All right, we shouldn't have to go down and compete to that guy from fucking St. Clair at $6,000. We deserve more than that. Okay, we're more professional than everybody. We're going through it all. We don't need to keep dropping pricing. We can stick with our platinum package. All right, but we got to get through it all. Then show the digital analysis on the iPad, not on your phone. Okay, if you're not getting it where you can transfer it over to your iPad, let us know. Me and Matt will show you how to do it to get it to your iPad seamlessly. I know that's part of the thing too, is, oh, I can't get it over here, and it's right here on my phone and everything else. It's like anything else, you gotta practice it. Make sure you know how to do it before you get into the house so you're comfortable with it and you don't have to worry about freaking out. Alright, not being confident. The pitch, going through the pitch. Alright, I broke it down in a couple different things. You start off with the company story. When people are getting estimates, they're shopping, they want to find a legitimate, professional company. If you're not talking or you're skimming over the company and the background of the company, alright, you're going to miss the boat. And they're going to want to shop you. They're going to want to do more research on you. I got to see what else is out there. You're going to hear that a lot. Alright, you got to make sure you get commitments when you're talking about it, but going through. Why do we talk about Owens Corning?
Do they know what shingle they're getting?
Because they trust them.
In the company story part.
Oh, because it builds credibility with our company, because we get to use their reputation as ours.
We're basically piggybacking us on top of them.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, do a lot of people want to deal business with a company that's been around 5, 6, 7 years?
No.
They feel more comfortable doing business with a company 20, 25 plus, right? Well, we're not there yet. We're getting there. But if we can piggyback ourselves on Owens Corning, they've been around since when?
1938.
1938, okay? So it's not like they're brand new. You got to stress the importance of that, you know, in this industry, no one generally manufactures their own shit. We have to have partners, and we team up with partners. Owens Corning chose us to partner up with. One of 17 contractors is a platinum. Why? Okay, because we have this, we have this, we have this, but because of that, all right, everything falls back onto them. Yeah, we're not been around forever, but you're also throwing it out there too. I always joke around with the customer, say, look, man, you're buying that warranty from Owens Corning, not simply us as well. I mean, what if Levi decides, you know what, hey man, I want to fucking just move to Florida and go fishing, and sells the company? What happens to your warranty? You know, does he close up shop? Does he, you know, sell it to somebody? Do they have to honor the warranty? I mean, Hanson, they sold out, right? Brian sold out for $80 million. What happens to those warranties that he has from the last 30, 35 years? Does the new owner have to honor those?
No.
They might, in some cases, but do they have to? Are they obligated?
No.
No. Okay, so then what kind of warranty do you have? One of these manufacturers' limited warranties that have a bunch of restrictions and no, and basically a bunch of loopholes.
No
So
cover.
they don't have to cover it if they don't want it. Okay, not only are you getting a guarantee from Rock Solid, but you're also getting a complete, fully transferable platinum guarantee through Owens Corning. So you're getting double the protection. So if I did decide to close shop and move to Florida or whatever the case is, all right, you're still covered. At the end of the day, that's what you're looking for, right, Anthony? 100% protection.
Mm-hmm.
So dealing with some of these other guys that aren't backed by the manufacturer, you're not really getting that, are you?
No.
Okay, getting those commitments during the pitch, during the company story part, they're not able to weasel their way out at the end on that specific spot. Going through your warranties, guarantees, I just kind of touched on that as well. Kind of goes hand in hand. But really, you got to push everybody's warranty has a loophole for insulation, okay, or for ventilation, I should say. If it's not ventilated properly, I don't care. Even Owens Corning, pull that one out. Don't be afraid to show them Owens Corning. They have that same restriction in there like everybody else does. We don't cover improper ventilation. You can see if every single manufacturer offers it. Do you think that they think it's important? So why wouldn't they cover it? Because they don't know who's doing it. That's the problem. It's being subcontracted out. They can't monitor all the companies. I mean, a 12-year-old can go buy the material from Home Depot. That doesn't mean they're going to do it right. Do you think Owens Corning would want to honor that? Hell no. So the only way that they can honor these 100% across the board is if they know who's doing the install. That makes sense, right? That's why they only selected 17 of us in Michigan and trained us to install it up to their specs, so therefore that they can back it up. Beyond 17, it gets too hard to manage. Are they really doing it? Are they not? Now things can slide through the cracks and not know if it's done properly. And their reputation's on the line. They've been around since when? 1938. They don't want a fucking Fortune 500 for 50 consecutive years. They don't want to jeopardize
61.
that. All right, see,
61.
I'm getting corrected over here.
Come on,
That's
man.
beautiful.
15,000 employees, 26 countries.
All right.
Fortune 500 has been out for 65 years.
Over.
So
Why are they green?
But guys, I mean, think about it. That's how you should
Sorry.
slam it. Don't exclude Owens Corning from it. You ever heard anybody talk about and say, well, GAF, I did my research and they have the best shingle out there and everything. Even though Consumer Report, I got to get that in your guys' hands too. They rated the duration shingle #1. And
Number one.
Yeah,
market.
actually,
Number
so
one
that's
out
a
there.
very common misconception. When GAF first came out, they bought out a company called Elk, and Elk was known as a very high quality shingle, but it's unfortunately no longer the case.
Not when GF first came out.
Well, not when they first came out. They
Alright,
bought
but
out,
guys,
they moved over to
doesn't
Timberline
really
series.
matter.
It's
The way I
basically-
mean, you guys have heard
usually
that?
they say Timberline.
Where somebody has said, oh, well, this shingle's better than this one or whatever. How do you counter that? I did my research, I went online and I only want this certainty shingle, it's the best thing out there or whatever, fucking GAF or
Certainty?
whatever they tell you.
Yeah,
they might tell you-
I've heard customers tell me all different types of things.
I had somebody
I
tell
go
me
to
I
our
want
solar
Tamco, and I'm like, why the fuck do you want Tamco? I didn't say fuck, but I did ask them, like, what made you want Tamco?
I subtly get it out. And asking them questions, don't tell them our shingle's better than this one or we did. You know, I just simply ask them, look, all I know is this. Owens Corning is the only one that will put in writing a 100% no restrictions guarantee. Okay, that if anything goes wrong, if you dealt with one of their platinum contractors and they did it up to their platinum specs, that they'll cover it 100% with no out-of-pocket expense to the homeowner. It's the only manufacturer out there that's willing to do that. GAF may have the best shingle. I don't really know, and I don't really care. But Owens Corning is the only one that's willing to put it in writing. And if GAF really had the best shingle, don't you think that they wouldn't have a problem putting it in writing too? So I don't really know what the best shingle is out there, but they're willing to put their money where their mouth is. So at that point, I'm willing to fucking invest in it.
Yeah.
And you're building that doubt. I don't know the difference. I really don't know. I don't give a flying fuck, but that's the truth.
Yeah.
They're the only ones willing to put that in writing. And now you take that customer's doubt, that guy who's an engineer and did all his fucking research and went online and Googled this shit for hours upon hours. They're the only ones willing to put it in writing. If GAF was as confident, wouldn't they do the same? I'm not slamming them, I'm not putting them down, I'm just asking questions and making them think. And that's what we gotta do during the pitch, is setting them up, setting the commitments and things, maybe really breaking that shit down. Also in the pitch, right after that, we get into price conditioning. Right? How do we get into price conditioning?
Cost versus value?
Cost versus value, right? Okay, do any of you guys have any other quotes from any of your competitors that you've gathered from your customers? You ever bring those out?
A few of them.
Most of the time, I mean, what percentage do you think we are the first person out there?
Most 75% of the
Yeah,
time.
mostly the first
Well,
person.
we try to be the first one out there, but.
That's how we gear everything to.
Yeah.
I would say probably about 70-75%, I mean, if I had to put a number on it.
It seems like a lot of people like have quotes years prior. You know, it always seems like they have quotes.
They may have had a price or something like that, they may not have it in writing still, but, yeah, or gotten some ballparks from somebody. Now, we've talked about it before, the importance of the digital analysis is what?
Build the need.
Build the need and what?
Urgency.
Show them you're an expert.
Bingo. To show them you're an expert. And why is that important? Do you guys remember the stats on that?
They listen to what you say. Half the roofers don't get up on the roof.
Well, you're right about that. But why is it important to establish ourselves as the expert? You guys remember the stats on it?
I don't remember the stats. Was there a
80%
stat?
of the time, if you've established yourself as the expert, they'll do whatever you fucking tell them to do. Just because of that. I mean, you think about like going to the doctor, for instance. You go in there, you know, you're sick, Cordis was sick, or whatever the case is, goes in, hey man, I'm not feeling good. They look in you, look out of you, everything else, and then they write you up a script. And you go run to the pharmacy, you get the script filled, and you start popping pills. You really know what fucking pills you're popping. You do research on it. No, you trust the fact that the doctor, because of all of his experience, he has certifications on the wall, that he knows what he's talking about, and you trust and respect his opinion and what he's giving you. Okay, because he's established himself as the expert. By doing the digital analysis, we've established ourselves as the expert. They're going to listen to us 80% of the time and believe what we're saying, right? If we're the first person in, they have nothing else to compare it to. So whatever we tell them is what is fact to them. So they don't know that other companies nowadays are starting to use synthetic underlayments instead of felt paper. They don't know that every company out there is starting to use 6 feet of ice and water shield versus the 3 feet. They just know that unless we tell them. We know it because we run into certain few companies out there that are offering it. But 90% of the companies out there are your small mom and pops. The chuck and a truck. You got your bigger companies out there, don't get me wrong. But all of those chuck and a trucks, they're giving you 3 feet, the minimum requirements. 3 feet of ice and water shield and traditional felt paper. Okay? And that's what you got to put into your customer's mind. If all that these companies are offering is felt paper, 3 feet of ice and water shield, versus getting it into synthetic, do you think that the chances of their roof leaking is a little bit higher than the ones that are using the synthetic? So do you think that they might have a little bit more of a voided warranty? Ask them these questions. Okay, get them thinking about it. Then pull out. I got a fucking stack of old quotes where I pull out, and it's one after one, all these small ones, and they all say in it, okay, they give you a 10-year limited warranty. 10-year limited warranty. And I'll point out and say, look, they're using 3 feet of ice shield and felt paper. Here's another one, 10-year limited workmanship warranty, felt paper, 3 feet of ice shield. Here's another one, I'm not even mentioning names, I'm just rattling them off, one after another, after another, after another. This one's got 3 feet of ice shield and felt paper. How much of a warranty do you think you're getting? Okay? After I say it over and over and over again, they're going to sit there and think, oh my goodness, everybody's offering this shit. Okay? Well, now that lowball number that they had from the guy at work, now it makes sense. Well, I don't know what he was getting. Well, what do you think you were getting? You think they were really spending money on these upgrades to get you this other stuff? Have you ever heard or knew you could upgrade to get into synthetic? No. Okay, so what do you think that these guys are doing? And during your pitch, you should be talking about, there's 20,000 roofing companies in Michigan. How do you think they all compete? Whoever's the cheapest. So any way that they can figure out a way to cut costs is how they're going to go about it, so they can give you the lowest ball price, like St. Clair coming in. And even they think that that's still high. You know, it should have been $1,000 cheaper. Right? They weren't sold on the differences, though, in what was important and what wasn't. But if you can get the good shit at the price of that $6,000 price, it's a no-brainer, right? All right, but that's where your pitch comes through, and you got to point out the fact. Now, if I'm telling everybody, and I'm not telling my customers that 90% of them are going to give you felt paper and 3 feet of ice shield, I'm implying that by showing them one estimate after another estimate after another estimate after another estimate. And then they all tell you, and then they'll show one that says, well, we're not going to cover damage due to ice damage. Well, if you're only putting up 3 feet of ice shield and you were a roofing contractor, Anthony, would you want to cover ice damage and be responsible?
No, the overhang like this.
Okay? If all you were putting over was 3 feet in ice shield and felt paper, if the roof leaked, would you want to be responsible, Eric? Now, if you doubled your ice and water shield, put your ice and water in all of your valleys around your chimneys, your pipes, your flashings, your rake edges, and then you covered the rest of the wood with the synthetic, would you be a little bit more apt to cover it if it did leak? Because the chances of it leaking are probably slim to none at that point, aren't they? Now can you see why I can guarantee it where nobody else can? You got to have it make sense to them. And they're going to believe that 90% of those companies are selling you the bullshit because you went up front and established yourself as that expert. But if you haven't done that and they think you're just a schmuck, yeah, okay, of course you're going to tell me everybody's got it. You're trying to sell me. No, you're proving it to them. You're showing it, letting the customer tell you that stuff. That's how they all compete. Or you can get these big dogs like your Hansons and stuff all over TV. Well, let me ask you a question. How much do you think advertising on TV is? Think it's cheap?
Actually, I asked Brian Elias one time, so he spent $10 million a year and got a 2% return.
It's not good. It's fucking expensive shit. Somebody's got to pay for it though, right? So do you think that their pricing, if you happen to have somebody like that come out, do you think their pricing is going to be on the higher side or the lower side? Let me ask you a question. Even if they did offer the same materials I want, and like you said, they're on the higher side, do you want to pay more for the same thing I can offer for less? You might as well call them up and cancel them now. You're planting that seed to them. Whether it's true or not, who fucking knows? Now you can piggyback that into when we're doing our advertising assistance program. Yeah, we'd rather save money. We don't want to spend $10 million on fucking TV every year to get a terrible return on our investment and have you, the homeowner, pay for it. But we got to market somehow. Would you mind doing a little bit of marketing for us? It's a way we can keep our costs down and keep your costs down as well. But you can spin it in. You're planting the seed during the pitch, but all these things go hand in hand. Talking about the product. Okay, what makes our product better than everything else? Going into the felt paper and the ice shield, or in the synthetic. You know, you don't need to tell them what the difference is, or that this one's better than that. Prove it to them. Show them. Have them tell you.
Punch holes in that.
Puncture the hole. Have them rip the other stuff up and see how it is.
Use that on every time, and they love it. They're like, "What are you crazy?" I'm like, "You see your cell phone? Can I put it underneath here?" They're like, "Hell no." Or then I show them
Here's mine.
I say it doesn't leak, and they're like, "Oh man, that's awesome."
I grab the sheets from the box over here and I leave it on my clipboard, but I always pull out the duration one, like the synthetic one that you guys gave us that has all the info on it, and it has like holes all over it.
Oh yeah.
And like I ran out of holes on this one, but it talks about the information, and I pulled out a new one, and it's fucking
Beautiful,
great.
man.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's the thing. You're doing the show, and they're seeing it. This is going to get laid down on your roof, covering your wood before your shingles. How do the shingles get installed, by the way? How do your shingles get mounted to your roof? Nails. So is there a chance that once we put this underlayment on, there's going to be a couple nails through it?
Chance. Phil.
But this is what you got to ask your customer. You don't tell them that. So there's going to be holes throughout your underlayment. Kind of like this. Well, check this out. You know, and then look through it. Look through the holes and I see you here. And then pour the fucking water on it, right? And then show them, isn't this how you want your protection to act? Yes, there's going to be holes in it. There's not even a nail around this hole, or inside of that hole, and it's still not allowing the water to come through. Isn't that the type of protection you're looking for? Now here, take this one. Whoosh. You ever gone to McDonald's, bought a medium pocket, whatever left in your cup holder overnight, forgot about it? You lift it up the next day, what happens?
Leaking.
Bottom ever fall out? Well, that cup is a piece of paper. Okay? What's the difference between that and this? This is a piece of paper. The difference is this is the last line of defense your house has to protect from the elements outside if anything gets below your shingles. Are you comfortable with just having a piece of paper as your last line of defense?
No.
Or would you prefer something like this that doesn't tear, that can have holes in it and still stop your water from coming in?
Something like that.
Would you be willing to spend $1 a square foot more for something like this over your paper?
Yes.
Talk about price conditioning. I just got a huge commitment, $1 a square foot more. What did he just tell me he's willing to spend?
$2 grand.
$2 grand, however many squares there are houses, pretty much.
$2,000, $3,000, $4,000. You got a 30 square house. You just told me you'd be willing to spend $30 or $3,000 more on the synthetic. How big? That was 20 squares, 19 squares. You go through the pitch. She just told you she'd be willing to spend $1,900 more. Not realizing it because it's not real to them at that point. But now you can bring it up. But like you said earlier, ma'am, you said you'd be willing to spend $1 a square foot more to get the synthetic over the felt paper. It's $1,900 more. That $6,000 price, you never seen nothing like the synthetic before, have you? So that $6,000 price was with the felt paper. I don't care about
No,
that.
I get that, but it says
Okay.
right here, it's
I don't care what
synthetic
it
and
says.
6 feet.
All right.
It's there.
So you're talking about the one fucking exception out of the 1,000 hot customers we've seen
I'm
in
just
a year.
saying, from yesterday,
Okay,
I get that.
she wasn't the decision maker. I don't care. It's like us talking about fucking mobile homes again. Tangent I don't want to go on. All right, but I mean, guys, this is different things. The price condition, you know, and then even if you're using your other quotes and stuff out there and breaking it down, this is what's going. You can break down anybody's estimate in the fine print. And price condition. This one wanted 10 grand. This one wanted this, but at the end of the day, it's not the protection you want. That extra, you're willing to spend $100 or $1 a square foot more on that material. It's the little things you sprinkle throughout your pitch that's going to get you more money. All right, and then the install. Okay, we do it the right way. We make sure all of the ventilation is properly. That's the huge part on it. Okay, we don't subcontract out the guys and just hire somebody off of Craigslist. We got our own in-house crews for both siding and roofing. Now, yes, not saying we don't have subcontractors or we don't use them. But the big scary thing of subcontractors is that, okay, we got another roofing job and we're just hiring somebody off the street to do it. No, these guys work solely for us. They don't moonlight and work for 17 different companies. All right? It's our responsibility to keep them busy. But like anything else, you guys are considered subcontractors. You're 1099, right? All right? Because you like to write off your miles and fucking all of that shit and as your own business. Well, the installers like to write their tools off and all that stuff too. And insurance-wise, it's cheaper for them to do it. If we had all in-house crews, our insurance rates would be fucking outrageous. And if they're outrageous on something like that, then it's, you know, it's going to affect your pricing. So in order to keep some of our pricing down, technically we have to hire, you know, subcontractors. But we're not just going on Craigslist and saying, hey, we got fucking 10 more roof jobs we need done. You know, where's a bunch of Mexicans? You know, they're our guys. Get in the install. All right. So now once your pitch is complete, you've done it all. Pull that survey back out. Anthony, how do you present the survey back to him when you're pricing?
If while I'm figuring out the numbers real quick, if you don't mind filling out this bottom part, kind of rating on 1 to 10 of how I explained everything to you. It's more so like my report card. I take it back to them.
Okay. Not terrible.
What about price?
This way. The biggest thing is you want to make sure you take the focus when you're having to fill out that bottom section off of your product. You don't want them to rate your product or your installation or any of that stuff because they can be sticklers. Some people, they just won't give 10s on the board or whatever because they're always going to nitpick the fuck out of everything. But if you make it personal, this is my report card so the office can see how I did. That line is so important because now it's a personal thing and now they're rating you, Anthony,
Say that first.
not your product. Yes, do me a favor. While I'm figuring out your price, just fill out this bottom section on a scale of 1 to 10. Okay, this is my report card so the office can see how I did. And slide it in front, give them a pen, shut the fuck up and start writing your numbers and they'll fill it out. Alright, but it's huge. Any objection they give you, you can use this tool to close them. but we gotta get in the habit of using it every single time. It's not gonna work on everybody, okay? I get that, alright? We only expect you, or our expectations is just to close 50% of what we sit. Not all of this shit is gonna work on every single customer, okay? But if you use it on every single customer, you'll hit that 50%, and you'll be making a shit ton of money.
Helps keep consistency.
That's the big thing, man. It's consistent. Instead of changing and jumping your game plan and stuff. You know, I'm a big sports guy, and you can always go back. It's about keeping the same consistent pattern. You know, dribbling a fucking, Rip Hamilton. Boom, 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 when he does his free throw. You know, Miguel Cabrera does the same thing every fucking time, or the other guy pats it, does the fucking sign of the cross, or does the two-bat swirl, and gets everything loaded and ready to go. Does the same thing every single fucking time. It's consistency. Just because a left-hander jumps on the mound, he doesn't change his batting stance up because he got thrown something different. No, every single time he's consistent. And that's where we just got to get in the habits of consistent, becoming a robot, basically. Where we can go in there and we don't have to think about these things. I don't want to say a robot and be all robotic and fucking scripted and everything else, because that's what we're trying to get away from.